Hello students, today we will start our ninth chapter and the topic is Introduction to Word Processing. You learned earlier that computers have been used to handle a variety of activities in diverse fields for the last 2 decades. One of the most common uses of computer is in handling office activities. It is observed that word processing, data processing, communication, and presentation are the most common activities happening in the offices. Computers are used to handle these activities effectively. We know that different software is available in the market to perform such activities using computers. Since the start of computer usage, proprietary software is used, but in last few years, use of open source software has substantially increased due to obvious advantages. In previous chapters, you have studied about proprietary and open source software. Since long back, software called Microsoft Office (MS Office) is used to handle the office activities like word processing, presentation, spreadsheet, and others. Similar software is available from open source community. Some of these are StarOffice, LibreOffice, and OpenOffice. In this chapter, we shall learn about how word processing is done using software called Writer, which is component of OpenOffice. Word processing and word processor. We are familiar with the word document. A document identifies contents written on a paper. In our day-to-day life, we use documents for several purposes. The purpose of writing on papers may be to convey your thought to others, to preserve the content for longer period, or it may be used as evidence. These documents can be letters, reports, theses, manuscripts, legal documents, books, etc. Suppose you want to prepare a document but your handwriting is so bad that even a pharmacist couldn't read it, or you are the kind of person who has to write, rewrite and write again, then what you need is word processing software. The activity of word processing is the creation of documents using software collection of programs called word processor. The creation of documents means not only typing but also refers to composition, editing, viewing, formatting, storing, retrieving, and printing. Thus, a word processor is a computer application used for the production of any sort of printable material. In late 1960s, the term word processing was invented by IBM. In the late 1970s, Microsoft WordStar was the most widely used word processing software. Many other word processing applications also exist, including WordPerfect and open source applications, OpenOffice.org Writer, LibreOffice Writer, AbiWord, KWord, etc. Web-based word processors such as Office web apps or Google Docs are relatively new software facilities. Need of word processing. In 18th century, a typewriter, as shown in figure, was invented to impress characters on paper. It is a mechanical or electromechanical device with keys that, when pressed, cause characters to be printed on a medium, usually paper. As days passed, several limitations were noticed in using typewriter. When any typing error was noticed, then to correct them, the whole sheet was required to be typed again. When we need more copies every time, the same content needs to be typed again and again. If one wants to reproduce the same document again with minor changes, the whole document was required to be typed again. For example, if we want to send same letter to 2 or more persons with different addresses, we had to type the letter multiple times. Sometimes it may not be possible to have all the required characters or symbols on the typewriter we are using. And as a result, we have to either type a similar character or symbol, or sometimes we have to leave the space and have to write manually. In case if a document is to be produced in a particular format, either type a similar character or symbol, or sometimes we have to leave that space and have to write manually. In case if a document is to be produced in a particular format, it may consume lot of time, or it may not be possible to type the document in desired format using a typewriter. To solve the above mentioned problem with a typewriter, in the year 1974, Xerox company introduced a new product called electronic typewriter. Changes in the content once typed are possible with this kind of typewriter. Multiple copies can also be taken out even with minor changes, but the only problem with electronic typewriter is that it has very small size screen, and therefore it was possible to view only one or two or very few lines. In late 1970s, the limitation of electronic typewriter were replaced by computers. Since then, software are used for word processing. When we use word processor to create a document, the contents of the document is displayed on the computer screen. On the screen, we can navigate from one place to another and can make changes if required. After confirming that the content is error-free, we can print it. Early word processors used tag-based markup for document formatting. When a specific portion of the content needs some special effort, a particular tag is put on both the sides of the text. For example, if some portion of the content is required to be bold, a bold tag is put on both the sides of the portion that we want to have bold effects. From last 2 decades, most modern word processors take advantages of graphical user interface, providing some form of what you see is what you get editing. This means the spatial effects on text are also visible on the screen. Thank you for listening. In our next video, we will see features of word processor. Till then, take care.